stories behind it. And when I hear those stories, that just really motivates me to drive further. So I thought, well, I've got my own story I want to tell here, and always having that pivotal foot within the gym or within fitness in some way, shape or form, and having structure to my life of, you know, discipline with my meal times and with my schedules of going to bed at, well, it'll be a little bit later tonight, I assume, but 9:30 or 10 o'clock. Having that allowed me to have that much more discipline and structure to the rest of my life, which before then I had none. And
because it has been an interesting journey from the days you grew up in a small town in Wales. So that was also, you know, the adventure streak was apparent there as well. You were involved in little mischiefs at your parents' farm, and from there you joined motocrossing, life-threatening risks. Everything was coming to you fast, and it had to transform you in a way. So how did that happen? The entire trajectory from your clubbing, binge drinking days, party. So if you could go back to those days and tell us how the transform, because the Kris that we see today is transformed and a transformer both. So these both roles, how did that happen?
Yeah, well, I guess I was blessed to grow up on a farm because, you know, I was an only child there for a while, so I'd go out and find adventure. So being independent in that way, I was never good in team sports. I never really hung around with a gang or anything like that. Everything that I did was, I was dependent on myself. My own success was dependent on myself, and I didn't depend on others, and, you know, they couldn't put the pressure on me.
And initially you were very passionate about bikes.
Yeah.
And then suddenly that took a back seat and bodybuilding became the center of your world.
Yeah. Because, you know, I always sought adrenaline. I like to have adrenaline. I've got low serotonin levels anyway.
There were a few people who were physically very fit people, like, you know, we knew Dara Singh, then came Dharmendra, you know, who was a fit leading man, you know. And then again there were, you know, actors who came who were completely not interested in, you know, in fitness. You know, it was, you know, there were very few of them. Dharmendra was one of them. And then later on, after I think after a decade or decade and a half, I don't think so Rajesh Khanna or Amitabh Bachchan, they were into fitness at all. And when I discussed with Amit ji, we all discussed these things and all, we were not that much aware about these fitnesses. And then of course there was Sunny Deol and there was Sanjay Dutt, you know, who were physically fit leading men who were into bodybuilding and weight training. And of course, I think the complete transformation, because I'm talking about transformation, and the transform, I think, it started when Kris trained Hrithik Roshan. And I think that's what actually raised the bar. You know, the bar was raised by Kris and the way he transformed Hrithik for the film, right? Am I right? That is why, for Kris, right? Krish, right, yeah. So that's the time I heard about Kris, when I saw the way Hrithik was looking. Hrithik has a great body, but the transformation which I saw, what you did to Hrithik was, you know, I just couldn't believe it. This can happen. And that's the time I really started thinking, you know, who's this guy, Kris? Who's this guy? Everybody, the entire film industry was talking about Kris. Everywhere, wherever there was John Abraham talking about it. There was all the actors, the young actors who wanted to train and get the trainers from there and, you know, learn from Kris how it really happens. So that's my connection with Kris. And then of course, my son, whose film is going to release next year, I don't want to talk much about it because it's better that he speaks. And when the film releases, let his work speak. But I'm thankful today I you know, use this opportunity to thank him for completely transforming my son's physical appearance. He was a very, very, I don't know if you've seen the pictures earlier. The new pictures have not come out yet. They were going to come out very soon, but he was a very, very skinny boy. You know, it's sometimes very easy for a fat man or a bulky man to lose all the fat and become, you know, become like a, you know, physically fit or a bodybuilder. But for a very skinny boy, like Hrithik was a very skinny boy, and for him to transform, even my son was a very skinny boy. But now when you see him, you'll realize how he has transformed himself. It's a much more tougher process to become what he has become. So thank you once again. And coming to me, well, where my health regime is concerned, to a certain extent, I think it happened at the time of the film 1942, A Love Story. That film was offered to me, and I was a father of 3 children at that time. And Mr. Vinod Chopra came to me and he says, I want you to do this film, a love story. I said, you think I can do a love story? I said, I'm a father of 3 children. I can't do it yet. I said, why didn't you cast someone younger? So I suggested Bobby Deol and Amir Khan's name. And well, Bobby was being launched by his brother and father. So, and he said he was not interested. Amir was busy. But the producer and Vinod both were very keen that I should be casted in 1942, A Love Story. So that's actually was the turning point of for me, my health and my physicality was about the roles and about my profession at that time. So I started actually looking after myself for that film. And I started exercising so that I could look younger for that role. Because I had to romance a girl who was almost half my age, Manisha Koirala. And I have to, do those romantic scenes and all. So that's the time I started actually, exercising. But I was still not aware how, the structured way of exercising and all. So from there, the journey started. I do both things. That's the reason the glow on my face.
I think we've got time for just one last question right now. Altamash, please. And basically, sir is saying that be a saint and a sinner and you will be physically fit.
Please. So my question to you is that you've been in...
Yeah, take the mic closer to you.
You've been in the industry for so long, and I'm not talking just about the age, but like you proved yourself over and over again. And the cinema, since then you entered the industry, it has evolved and changed so much. So what is that thing with which you survived for so long, and what is the advice and suggestion that you have for the upcoming lot of actors that are coming in the industry?
For anything, I think you should, I'm sure, because as soon as you started asking Kris, the question is, should you be ready to fail? I think for me that's very important. I'm always ready to fail. I am always ready that people make fun of me and say, okay, this time it's going to be, this time he's going to fail, and it's okay if I fail, but it makes me stronger and bounce back again. So that's the way I have been always. So doing things which challenge me, which motivates me, which excite me, and I just don't want to do something which everybody's doing. I want to do something which is totally out of the box, something totally different. And some people say it's very artistic, or this film is not going to do well, and this, he's making this film, and sometimes I fail. But I learn more from my failures. And you don't learn so much from success. I think there is a saying in America, when they hire an executive, they always, or someone they want to hire, and they find out how many times has he failed. So the more he has failed, they say, hire him. Because he's learned so much. That's what it is. So, sometimes it's very important. So just don't get scared. Even in bodybuilding, there are times when you will not see results, but you have to keep on trying. And if you work hard, and if you have the blessing of your parents and God, I'm sure, there's no way that you're not going to succeed again and again.
Thank you very much for your questions. I think it's now time for the launch.